What does Jesus mean in Matthew 5:44 when he says, love your enemies, especially in light of our response to the terrorist organization ISIS? I have two thoughts about this. One thing is what I think Jesus did mean, and one is based on what I think Jesus did not mean. Okay, so let's take what I think he did mean. Jesus here, when he says love your enemies, is talking about personal ethics, how we are supposed to respond to individuals in our life that might treat us with disrespect, who might lie to us, who might try to hurt us or whatever. Okay, so these are individuals that we know. And in fact, we can tell this is the case based on the context, right? Elsewhere in this passage, we see Jesus talking about taking oaths and marriage and divorce and adultery and other matters that pertain to individual interactions with others. And so this is why we know that Jesus here also intends love your enemies to be about personal interactions with the individuals that we know. And so what he's simply saying is this: look, those people who mistreat you, who lie about you, who try to hurt you, we are not to respond to them with evil, but rather to love them. Okay? Treat them with dignity and respect. So that's what Jesus means about love your enemy. Here's what Jesus probably does not mean about love your enemies. And that is that admonition, that command, is not intended for the United States or for some other country or for some other government to deal with foreign policy. Remember, this is about personal ethics, not about how governments should conduct themselves. So governments are supposed to protect their own citizens. They should do whatever they can in their power to protect their citizens. And so for the United States to protect itself from things like ISIS is not in any way a violation of the command to love your enemies. Because remember, that's a personal ethic, not something applicable to governments. And indeed, we see this mentioned in Scripture, right? God talks about how the government is an institution that is given by God to man to mitigate the impact of evil in the world. And we see this in 1 Peter 2 and I think Romans 13, where God says that governments are intended to protect innocent people and to punish evildoers or wrongdoers. And that's why when governments become corrupt, evil flourishes. So there's no justification for using Jesus' command to love your enemies as a directive for governments to somehow kind of lay down their arms and not do anything about terrorist threats like ISIS. Rather, Jesus here is talking about personal ethics that you and I are supposed to engage in when we deal with people who are against us.